Welcome to the third Onshape tutorial for modelling a torch. On screen I've already loaded what we've done in the previous two videos, and now we're going to add on the bit of the casing that houses the button. So I'm going to click on here and go to isometric just to put this in a sort of a 3D view. And the first thing I want to do is to create a new work plane. Now I can do that a couple of ways. I can either use the plane feature tool up here, or I can right click on the front work plane and I can left click on offset plane. Now it defaults to 25mm distance. I want that to be 66. And you can also see that it's trying to come forwards of the plane, so if I spin that around it's coming ahead of it, and I want it to be in the other direction, so I'm just going to click on the arrows to reverse it, and then I'm going to click on the tick. So if I spin that round, I'm now going to right click on plane 1 and I'm going to create a new sketch, and I'm going to press the N key for normal to. Doesn't matter if it was spinning around the other way and I was viewing from the other direction, I can still do this sketch the same. So I'm going to use the line tool to create this sketch, and I'm just going to zoom in slightly so that we can see the edge of the right plane a bit more clearly, because we're going to use that as our guide for starting our sketches. Now if I draw a line, and I'm just going to hover to, so it's over the origin and lined up with the edge of that front, the right work plane. If I draw a line and I left click and hold and I drag the line out and then let go, it doesn't want me to carry on with another line. It knows that I just want to draw one line. However, if I click and then to start the line and then click again to end the line, it assumes I want to add an extra line in. So let me demonstrate that. So again, I'm going to line up with the edge of the work plane, and it also lines up with the origin. You can see the dotted lines. I'm going to left click, I'm going to draw a slightly shorter line, left click again, and then left click on the end of that line. Now because I left clicked on the end of that line and it's kind of completed the line, it's not tried to draw another line. But if I over here go left click, left click, left click, left click, it keeps drawing lines until I close it or I press escape. Okay, right, I'm just going to turn the line tool off, just going to drag over there, and then I'm going to press my delete key to delete those lines. Okay, so let's put some dimensions onto these lines. First of all, I want to dimension how far up this line is from the origin. So I'm going to left click on the origin, left click on the line, left click over here, and I want that to be 36mm. And I want to dimension the length of the two lines. So the bottom line I'm going to left click on. I'm going to come away from the line so it's nice and clear, and I want that to be 23mm. And then the top line I'm going to left click on and go above, and I want that to be 16mm. Now I actually want a fillet in here, a little radius, so I'm going to use the fillet tool. I'm going to click on the dot, and it's remembered the last number I've put in, so it's put R3 in there, which is what I want. I want an R3. If that had been an 18, because perhaps it was remembering I'd drawn an 18mm radius previously, then once I left click I can then change that. 3mm is what I want, so I'm just going to enter that. Now I don't know what height this is, but I'm actually going to use the tangent tool to create the height here. I want this radius to blend with the radius of this circle here. So I'm going to use the tangent tool. I'm going to click on my little radius, and then I'm going to click on that one, and you can see it's moved it up. What I also need is a full shape. I've only drawn one half, and the reason for drawing that starting on this edge of a work plane is I can use that edge as a mirror line. So we've mirrored features before. Let's mirror the sketch. So if we use the mirror entity tool, we'll pick the line which is the edge of that work plane, and then we can click on the lines that we want to mirror, and that does an enclosed space. I don't know if you noticed, but that just went light grey. If I just spin that around, you can perhaps see that it's a light grey colour. So now I need to extrude that. So I'm going to use the extrude tool, Now it's gone off in the right direction. If I hold the right mouse button down and spin it around, you can see it's going in the right direction. It's heading towards the round part that we did last video. But I want that to go up to a particular surface. It's adding, it's not creating a new, it's adding, which is right, but I want to go to up to a face, and I want it to go up to this face here, that flat face. If I click the tick and zoom out, if I right click, I can go zoom to fit, and you can see that there's that shape. Now the next thing to do is the part where the switch fits inside is also forms part of the handle, so we need to start to cut out a shape at this end. So I'm going to right click on the right plane, left click on new sketch, press N for normal, and we're viewing here, and I'm just going to draw a circle. I'm now going to use the coincident point for the center of the circle and this vertical line. I'm not going to put it in the middle of the line because it would jump there and I don't want it to be in the middle of the line, so I'm just going to make sure I click above the middle of the line, and that's lined that up. And I'm now going to put in some dimensions. So the dimension of the circle, the diameter of the circle, is 29 millimeters, and I want the bottom of the circle to line up with this line as well. So we can try a coincident point. So let's pick that and that. Now it doesn't like it. A coincident constraint cannot be applied to two curves of different types. So what do we need to do? Well, actually what we need is we want the tangent tool. So let's click on the circle and then click on that line, and it puts a tangent in there. That's what we want. Okay, so that's in the right place now. What I now want to do is to remove that shape from this block of material. So let's go to our extrude tool, and you can see that it wants to add it in. Let's click on remove, and it's gone off in that direction, 25 millimeters. What I actually want it to do is to go all the way through. So I'm going to go through all, and then I'm going to tick the box that says second end position, and I'm going to make that go through all as well. Tick the box, and then we've got our nice shape. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to put a fillet on here. This should have a radius on these two edges. So let's use our fillet tool, and I want that fillet to be 3 millimeters. And I'm going to click on this edge, and you can see automatically without clicking on the other edge it's gone all the way around. Now I don't actually need a fillet on here, but it won't matter because later on we're going to get rid of that. The geometry of the model means that it needs to apply a fillet all the way around, so we're going to click the tick, and we're happy with that. Now the only slight problem with this is we've got a little bit of a step. So if we just zoom right in here, you can see that we have a slight step here where it's not blended into the curve, so we need to sort that out. So I'm using the scroll wheel to zoom in. I'm going to right click on that flat surface and go new sketch, and I'm going to zoom out badly. I'm going to press N to view normal to the sketch. Okay, let's pull that around. There we go, press N to view normal, and then I can zoom in with the scroll wheel. So the first thing I do is I'm going to use this tool here, which allows me to convert an edge into a sketch entity. So I'm going to click on the curve, and I'm going to click on that line, and then going to use the line tool, and I am simply going to come across horizontally, and I'm going to come down vertically, and then I'm just going to trim those ends off, trim the corners off so I'm not breaking my rules, and I've got that shape. So that shape now is on the end of that bit that wasn't working, and I'm simply just going to revolve that so that it blends into the radius. I only need to revolve it 90 degrees, but I'm actually going to revolve it 360 degrees because I can then mirror it on the other side to do the other side. So let's use the revolve tool. We don't want it to be new, we want it to add. Merge scope, where we want it to merge with the body. and we want the revolve axis to be that vertical line there. So you can see that spun round and blended that in, and we can click the tick to say that we're happy with that. And let's go to isometric, and it's zoomed to fit. Okay, so let's hold the right mouse button down and spin it around. Okay, so we've still got the same problem on this side. You can see the step there where we've got a nice blend there. So on this side, let's mirror it. So let's use the mirror tool, and we don't want a part mirror, we want a feature mirror. The feature to mirror is going to be our revolve, and the mirror plane is our right plane, so we can left click on the right plane there, click the tick, and we can see that it's blended that in. Okay, the last thing to do is to actually hollow this whole shape out, because our torch body isn't a solid body. It's actually a shell, and that's the tool that we're going to use. So we're going to click on the shell tool, and we're going to click on this front face, and you can see it defaults to 2.5, and if I just spin that around you can see it's hollowed it out, but we want that to be 1.5 millimeters, so we're going to change that to 1.5, hit enter, it updates, you can see it's a bit thinner, click the tick, and that's the main part of the body done. So that's the end of this video. It will automatically save, and in the next video we will start looking at adding in the rest of the handle.